So the next example is getting 50% of the total marks, a candidate fails in an examination by 120 marks. Getting 75% of the total marks, another candidate passes the examination by 180 marks. So what is the pass percent in that examination? So one candidate gets 50% of the total, but he fails. Another candidate gets 75% of the total and he clears the exam. So this person fails by 120 marks, the other person getting 75% gets 180 more marks. So what is the pass percent? So we'll see the working. So in this question, two percentages are mentioned. In 1% fails the exam, the other percentage, another candidate clears the exam. So we are asked to find the pass percent. So we'll see a simple concept in this question. Say for example, so not related to this question. If the pass mark in an exam is 50 marks, so pass mark is 50. If a student gets 40 marks, so then obviously he'll fail in the exam. By how many marks? He fails by 10 marks. So whenever they mention getting 40 failed by 10 implies that, so with this 40, when you add 10, so with this 40, when you add the marks which he gets less, that's 10 marks, we get the pass mark 50. Suppose if a student gets 75 marks, he'll clear the exam, he'll pass the exam by how many marks? 25 marks. So when they mention getting 75, cleared by 25 or passes by 25 marks, it means that with the marks which he gets, when you subtract 25, you get the same pass mark 50. So using this concept, we'll see how to proceed the question which we are seeing now. So it's given that getting 50% of the total. So we'll take total as T, 50% of the total. So a candidate fails in the exam. By how many marks he fails? He fails by 120 marks. So the marks got by him is 50% of the total, and adding this 120, pass mark is got. So another candidate gets 75% of the total. So 75% of the total. He clears the exam. By how many marks? 180 marks. So when you subtract 180 from the marks got by the candidate, you get the pass mark again. So total and pass mark, two variables, and we have two equations. So solving this first equation and the second equation, we get the pass mark and the total, and we are asked to find the pass percent. So how can we find the pass percent? So divide the pass mark by total into 100. So after solving, we get the total marks and the pass mark. So divide the pass mark by the total into 100, we get the pass percent. So but instead of doing all this, so we'll use a simple logic to find the pass percent. So no need to do all these calculations. The actual working is this. So instead of doing all this solving the linear equations and all, we'll see how to find the pass percent using a simple logic. So we'll consider this as a percentage number line. So initial is 0%. So what are the two percentages given? 50% and 75%. So when a candidate gets 50%, he fails in the exam. The other candidate gets 75%. He clears, he passes the exam. So now it is clear that pass percent is somewhere in between this region, between more than 50 and less than 75. And checking here, what percent of marks we have here? From 0 to this point we have 75%. From 0 to here we have 50%. So on the whole we have 25% of marks in this region. So somewhere in this region lies the pass percent. And to find that point, we'll see how many marks this candidate fails. By how many marks? He fails by 120 marks. And by how many marks the other candidate cleared the exam? It is by 180. Now simplifying and get the ratio. I have already told you ratios will be very simple to work out. So get the ratio by the marks which he failed and the ratio to the marks which the other person passed. The ratio is 2:3. So it means that the person failed by 2 parts and the other person had cleared by 3 parts. So 2 plus 3, how many parts? 5. So divide this region into 5 parts. And where will be the pass percent? So it will be here. So 2 parts more than 50 will be the pass percent. And in this region we have 25% of the marks. So divide this 25 into 5 parts. So when you divide, so in each box we have 5%. And what is the pass percent? So easily you can get the pass percent. So pass percent is here after 2 parts, 5 plus 5, 10. Add 10 with 50, you get pass percent as 60%. Or you can subtract this 3 parts, 3 into 5, 15 from 75, we get the pass percent. So in this question, getting 50% a candidate fails by 120 marks, getting 75% other candidate clears by 120 marks. So what is the pass percent? So instead of solving the equation, just see in this region what percent of marks you have, get the ratio of marks he failed and cleared. The ratio is 2:3. So after 2 parts will be the pass percent. So dividing this with 5, in which box we have 5%. So 50 plus 5 and 5, 60% is the pass percent. So answer for this question is 60%. Suppose if they ask what is the total marks. So pass percent is 60%. So just figure out where the pass percent is there. Add this 10 with 50. So 60% is the pass percent. So by what percent he failed? 60% is the pass percent. This candidate gets 50%. So he failed by 10%. By how many marks he failed? 120 marks. So 10% is 120. So what is the total marks? So to find the total, we have got the detail. So 10% is 120. He failed by 10% and he failed by 120 marks. So what will be 100%? So 10 is a factor of 100. So multiplying with 10 on either side, so we get total marks as 1200. So total marks here is 1200. So we'll see another example.